In what is a really momentous decision, this bailout bill has essentially been rejected by legislators. Maybe the very first thing we should do is call your attention to that number you see right there on the screen, because ever since this happened, the market has been reacting in no uncertain terms. Where is it at right now? 669. I think I heard Ali Belshi say just a little while ago, if it hits the 700 mark, we're in new territory. So we're looking at something now that is obviously going to have an impact on our nation's economy, as had been predicted. The question is how wide and how varied. There's something else that we have to bring your attention to now. Those of you just now getting home from work, here's what happened. This thing got rejected by a pretty substantial number. It was somewhat surprising and unexpected. Let me show you now. Maybe we can split the screen, leave part of that up, Dan, but I want to see the vote tally and show people at home exactly who voted for what on this thing so they can see the breakdown of how Democrats voted and how Republicans voted. All right, there it is. I think you can see it right there on your screen. Democrats, yes, 140. Democrats against 95. Pretty close, but as you can see, the Democrats were in favor of it. Now you go over to the Republican side. Does that say 133 nay and 65 against is the number as it stands? That was the final tally as this thing came in, about an hour and a half ago. Since then, there's been a lot of lobbying, a lot of debating, and there's also been plenty of bickering. Yes, bickering. Why? The Republicans have just held a news conference shortly ago, and what they said was the reason we couldn't come up with enough votes is because of something that Nancy Pelosi said. She was one of many people speaking today on the floor, and they say that it was what she said that really made many Republicans vote against the measure. Well, what did she say, right? That's the obvious question that you have. We have been able to get that response from Pelosi ready to go. Here it is. You listen to it for yourself and decide, looking at it from the perspective of a Republican, whether it was offensive enough to make them vote against the measure. Here it is. Let's roll it, Dan.
When President Bush took office, he inherited President Clinton's surpluses, 4 years in a row budget surpluses, on a trajectory of $5.6 trillion in surplus. And with his reckless economic policies, within 2 years, he had turned that around. And now 8 years later, the foundation of that fiscal irresponsibility, combined with an anything-goes economic policy, has taken us to where we are today. They claim to be free market advocates when it's really an anything-goes mentality. No regulation, no supervision, no discipline. And if you fail, you will have a golden parachute and the taxpayer will bail you out. Those days are over. The party is over.
So she really gives it to the Bush administration, and many Republicans took offense to that, so much so that they're now saying it was those comments by Nancy Pelosi that may have caused many of their members to actually go against this bill. I want you to listen now, because remember, this was a debate that took some time. We were carefully monitoring all of it while it was on the air. And we want you to listen now to a couple of these in particular. Why don't we do this? Why don't we start with the Bolshevik Revolution line? This is Tad McCotter.